Hey everybody, as you get ready to watch this video, I want to ask you to stick around until the end for an update to this review. Something happened that was really fascinating and I think speaks to one of the more kind of mysterious, complicated, even frustrating things about fragrances. So I'll see you at the end of the video. Hey everybody, this is Justin with SILLAGE Scents. I've got a short video today for you about a fragrance that I held off on getting for quite a while, but now that I've got it, this is one where I thought, man, I should have got this when it came out. This is really interesting. It's really excellent. And so I want to share that with you today. Right as we get going, please subscribe to the channel. I appreciate those of you who are watching these and commenting and subscribing, of course. And let me know in the comments, do you have this one and what do you think of it? So here is this fragrance that I've been really impressed by since I picked it up. It's one a lot of people have talked about. This is Armaf's Club de Nuit Sillage. So this is, I think, the third of the Club de Nuit fragrances that I've picked up. They've all been pretty great quality. And this one, of course, is a clone of Creed's Silver Mountain Water. And so probably, I don't know, a while back, a couple years ago, I tested I sampled another clone of Silver Mountain Water, and I wasn't that impressed by it. And so Sillage, I've kind of had my eye on and thought, you know, there's not much to it. It's going to be kind of boring. But I don't think this one is boring. I think it's pretty complex, but it's subdued. It's pretty subtle. But if you can pick up on the nuances, there's a lot that's going on here that's really interesting. So this has been described as sort of a slightly inky, slightly metallic, fresh fragrance with some sweetness and kind of a tea note. And I do think that that is accurate. But something I've noticed about some of the Middle Eastern fragrances that I've picked up in the past year or so is that some of them are using ambroxan in a way that's very impressive, that really mimics ambergris. And this is one of those. The ambroxan in this fragrance really does a great job of producing that, sweet, woodsy, almost, this is weird, but almost chewy kind of air and texture and scent profile of ambergris. And so the ambroxan in this one is beautiful. It'll remind you, the fragrance as a whole won't, but the ambroxan will definitely remind you of Club de Nuit Milestone, which is another clone of a Creed fragrance. It's a clone of Milsim Imperial. Creed is kind of known for their ambergris. And it's one of the reasons they're expensive, but now they're too expensive. You know, it's kind of unjustifiable. But the notes that you're going to get in Sillage, in the top, you've got bergamot, blackcurrant, lemon, lime, violet leaf, and ginger. And so the things that you really get, I would say, would be the blackcurrant. You get some citrus, and you do get something that is kind of inky. From what I understand, the Creed has a stronger inky vibe, but you do get something that just sort of smells almost like a black ink. I don't know how else to say it, but you get some of that that's sort of wafting through the fragrance, and you get that as you wear the fragrance as well. It's really interesting. It just goes really well with kind of the airy ambroxan and the subtle sweetness of the fragrance. And then in the mid, you've got, and I don't necessarily know that I pick up like violet leaf, at least not in a, gasoline kind of way, nothing like that. But maybe that's where some of that inkiness or some of even that tea quality, which is kind of like a bitter sweet, again, kind of ethereal, airy kind of note. Maybe some of that is coming from the violet leaf. I don't know. In the mid, you've got rose, jasmine, and iris. And I would say that you do get a bit of a floral quality, but it's not really feminine. Iris, I would not have known that it was iris in the fragrance, but I would have known there was some kind of a floral that's giving it some sweetness, but there are some florals that kind of give me a headache vibe, like a strong floral, something you would think of like a grandmother's perfume. This is not like that at all. You know, jasmine is sort of a very light floral. And the tea vibe that you get in Sillage is going to remind you of white tea. I'm kind of a tea fanatic. I have been in times past, and so I know tea very well. And this is going to remind you of like a white tea, sort of a sweet, fresh, not necessarily like a black tea or a green tea, which would be more bitter, but kind of a sweet, fresh, bright kind of tea. And that's probably coming from the jasmine and maybe some fresh iris. And then in the base, you've got ambroxan, which I think is kind of the standout of this fragrance, as strange as that sounds, because ambroxan is almost like, it's one of those fragrances that's hard to put your finger on or nail down exactly what it is because it's kind of airy. And then you've got sandalwood and cedar. And I don't know if I necessarily get cedar, but sandalwood, yes, gives a little bit of kind of that woodsy, creamy vibe that people always talk about. Excuse me. But the one thing that I do want to say is that this is a good fragrance. It's not boring. It's not, I also wondered, is it going to even be noticeable? It is noticeable, but it's one of those fragrances that you're going to catch wafts of in the air. You're going to be leaving a sillage, a scent trail. I wonder if that's why they named it this. That's just interesting, just kind of this floaty, mysterious kind of fragrance that pretty much could be worn all year long. I think you could definitely wear it in summer heat. Just don't go crazy on the sprays because it is a little sweet. It would be perfect for spring, perfect for fall, and even in the winter, bump up your sprays a little bit. This is even a fragrance that's going to work in the winter. So I would say very interesting, very attractive, very versatile. This is a great pickup. I got it on Amazon for, I think, around $32 or something like that, but you can get it kind of all over the place online. This is one I would definitely recommend. It's one I wanted to just make a standalone video to say, this is a good one. I put it off for a long time because of the things that I mentioned, but my concerns have been allayed, if that's the right word, and this is one that you might want to pick up. Interesting, ambroxan done in a very good way with, the blackcurrant fruitiness and a little of that inky vibe, a little of the tea vibe, some sweetness and airiness. It's a pretty cool fragrance and one you should probably consider picking up. All right, so here I am with the promised update. So something happened the day after I filmed this original review. I went into the office, and about 4 hours after I had sprayed the fragrance, I think I had about 6 sprays on, most of which were kind of under my clothes. And I was having a meeting with 2 of my staff members, and one of them, whenever they walked in, said, "Wow, did you just spray cologne?" And I said, "No, I did this morning, it was like 4 hours ago." And he said, "No, this is crazy. No, I don't understand." And he said, "Oh, it must be the floral shop. My office is right next to a floral shop." Which is, sort of a weird side issue. But I wondered, though. I thought, man, I bet he is smelling my cologne. So I went home that night, obviously changed clothes, got ready for bed. The next morning, I go into the closet. As soon as I open the door where my shirt is hanging, I get hit in the face with like a white florals spicy smell. And it was from my shirt. So this is a good 20 hours later. The fragrance was so strong. I had gone so anosmic to it. I think immediately when I sprayed it on, this fragrance is super powerful. That's my experience. Maybe it's just my bottle. But I just went in to the closet. So this is like 48 hours later, about 36 hours later, something like that. And the closet still smells like sillage, except it's more of sort of the original vibe that I get, sort of the tea with a little bit of an aromatic or kind of spicy feel, a little bit of that inky vibe. It's so interesting. And I'm noticing this more and more, that performance of fragrances is almost a mystery to the wearer. You almost have to have someone else wear it and just be around them once every couple hours. I think we go some level of anosmic or olfactory fatigue to fragrances immediately when we spray them on. I wasn't even getting the white floral spicy element of the fragrance that much. I would have pointed to it as like 20% of the fragrance. But when I walked in the closet that next morning, it was like, bam, just hitting me in the face. So this is just really interesting. I have a lot of thoughts on this. I've noticed it more the past few months than ever before, just the way that fragrances change. You know, you go a few months without wearing something and then you wear it again and it seems to be 3 or 4 times as strong. I think there's a lot of different reasons for that. Maybe it's macerating and other reasons as well. You know, maybe it is all olfactory fatigue, but here's the reason that I wanted to shoot this. Number one, this fragrance is strong. Number two, it does smell different in the air than it smells on me. And number three, it significantly changes over time. The way it smelled when I put it on versus the way it smelled the next morning as it filled my closet versus the way it smelled 12 hours later was different each time. I'm just kind of fascinated by this, but this is a great fragrance. It's powerful. It's not boring or weak, which were the concerns that I had. Very interesting, and I think you might want to check it out. So thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around to the end. This is Justin with SILLAGE Scents. And again, please subscribe to my channel and let me know down in the comments what you think about all this. Thanks. I'll see you on the next one.